Okay, well, welcome everyone to the next installment in our series. We've been going on about 7 months now of higher education chats. And today, Rena and I, Cancerina Kernia, my colleague, and I are so excited because we've got Morgan Sapia here. Morgan's on the Smart Cities team. She'll talk with you a bit about what that means in a bit, but she's going to talk about a tool that has really emerged this year into an extremely viable useful tool for a variety of purposes that she'll talk about, and that is Arcgis Hub. Now, just as a small aside, but pertinent to our discussion today, I met Morgan when she was a student at Westchester University. So it's really exciting just to see. We're on the education industry team, so we just love it when students shine and thrive. And I know many of you are educators, so you'll just be beaming that, these seeds that you're planting, look at what Morgan's doing. And so it's just very encouraging, and appreciate all the good work that you educators are doing, and the rest of you that are on the chat today. So Morgan Sapia, take it away. Thanks so much.
Wow, thanks, Joseph. That was so kind. I'm going to share my screen. So let me know when you can see that. I see Joseph nodding, thumbs up. Cool, it's what I like to see. So hello, everyone. My name is Morgan Sapia. I'm a solution engineer on Esri's Smart Cities team. So my team is kind of focused on a couple of different ideas and products. So there's a few within the Smart Cities umbrella. So the first one is smart planning with ArcGIS Urban. The second one is smart buildings with ArcGIS Indoors. And then the third one is smart engagement and smart communications with ArcGIS Hub. So my focus is on that third one, which is ArcGIS Hub. And that's what I will be talking to all of you today about. And interestingly, like Joseph had mentioned, I'm not too far removed from my education. I graduated with my undergrad in, 2019 from Westchester University in Pennsylvania. And I also earned my master's from there as well. So my background is in planning and geography and also some GIS. So that's a little bit about me. So during this presentation, I want to go over what Arcgis Hub is, just like, a general overview, including then a detailed demonstration, and then also show you some examples of how other universities are using Hub. So first, let me quickly explain why we've even built this thing called Hub. And please, if you want to stop me, or questions, if you want to throw them in the chat, Joseph and Verena will be able to acknowledge them as we go through. So I look forward to talking with all of you today. So let me get started then into why we built this thing called Hub. So cities want to become these smart cities, right? By being healthier, more prosperous, safer. But as they evolve and grow, they're facing some pretty complex challenges. And information sharing is not as simple as it once was. So organizations, whether governments, nonprofits, engineering firms, some of them have not maybe modernize their information sharing, but are faced with citizens and people caring way more about their cities and homes. So organizations have to disseminate more information faster. And these aspirations of being safer or smarter or more livable are then turned into these real world goals or initiatives. So initiatives are a measurable goal to improve a particular community need. So again, this is why Hub was built. And so really it's to be effective. And these initiatives require collaboration across government agencies, universities, nonprofits, communities, businesses. It requires all of these groups to work together. So initiatives are a repeatable framework, and they're designed by academia, by business partners, by governments. And they can be specific to an organization, or they can be really broad and be shared to the world. So a community has goals of their own. So again, these citizens want to live in a smarter community. But how do they help? And we find that a lot of community members are interested, but maybe not connected. So there's no glue to keep them connected. And that actually has some universities scratching their heads on alternate ways to promote engagement whether it's within your university, whether it's within specific classrooms, or even between cities or towns and your university. How do you collaborate with everybody that's involved in these goals? So that's why we developed a solution, which is ArcGIS Hub. So Hub is an all-inclusive community engagement platform that hosts data sharing, establishes citywide initiatives, and leverages the broader community. And we've focused on making the system really, really simple to use. So it's browser-based and sits on top of your ArcGIS Online. So I'm pretty sure all of you on this call already have the ability to use ArcGIS Hub. So Hub offers a set of templates and tools that easily supports any type of goals or objectives or even open data sharing. And so the goal of Hub is to serve as this glue and this beacon within your community, within your university community. So from an education perspective, each class, and I'm going to say this because I'm not too far removed from education, but each class has those dreaded group projects, right? And well, within those projects, we have staff or the students working on the project. And the staff or the people working on the project, the students, they need a way to work on these projects together, right? And then we also have trusted collaborators or the professors who are actually assisting with the project. How are they meant to collaborate with the student other than just emails? And then we have, the actively engaged public or the other students doing similar projects or the other students sitting in the crowd listening to the presentation that's being done by the students who are using Hub as a project itself. And then finally, we have the public or the rest of the university staff, or perhaps the city or the town that the students are actually working closely with to achieve these goals and objectives. So although this is kind of showing an example from the city point of view, as a student point of view is also extremely similar when they have to work in these groups and actively engage and actively participate and work together. So then what specifically can Hub do for you and your students? Well, first is it gives universities the ability to gather qualitative research from the community. So whether it's a studio class working with community members to gain insight on needs, or professors asking students opinions on different planned scenarios, Hub allows the broader community to be a part of the decision-making process. Next is collaboration. Hub provides better collaboration within communities, governments, and universities by supporting different feedback tools. And these initiatives allow the decision makers and the public to better understand each point of view and gather new insights. So within education, you can imagine different students collaborating on a final project and utilizing it as a way to showcase all of the work that they've done for the project. So Hub allows multiple people to also work on one site. And then lastly is the ability to share data on a common platform. Again, that's already integrated into your ArcGIS Online. So that makes collection and organization more streamlined and efficient for you and for your students. So Hub allows for more visual communication to share information on projects, classes, and even work together with cities to help achieve these smart city goals. So then let's see how others are using it. So I'm going to pull over some really awesome Hub examples. Joseph was talking a little bit about this earlier. Joseph, actually, do you want to talk through this a little bit and kind of explain what I'm showing?
Well, sure, just ever so briefly, but thanks, Morgan. That's really nice of you to show this one. But when all the disruption suddenly happened in education, as you folks are well aware, back in March, three people on our team, including myself, actually 4 total, we decided, hey, we need to put some resources called the mapping hour together, hour-long videos targeted at specific tasks in GIS for educators, mainly for K-12 teachers, but also for community college, university, tribal college, technical college, but and also for parents. Like, ooh, I've got my kids at home. I want to teach some something about ecoregions or weather or climate or population change or whatever. So we put this hub together, as Morgan's showing you right now, on that, and it provided a very convenient place for us to house all of the resources. So it was good for 2 things. One, it was good for us as the as the instructors, as the instructional team, because we could put everything that we needed as we developed the content into the Hub site. And then secondly, it was good for the people consuming the data, the teachers, the parents, et cetera, the instructors on that side, to say, hey, I want to go to episode number 10, as you can see, and then I can see the video, but I can also link to the other resources that are associated, the lessons, the data sets, et cetera. So it provided, I think, it was good for the developer team and good for the participants. And again, provided a very convenient spot for us to house the data. And like Morgan said, to engage the community. That was the whole idea, instead of a bunch of disparate, sort of websites and URLs here and there. Anyway, over to you, Morgan. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Joseph. I knew you'd be able to explain a little bit better than me. All right. So the next example I want to show you all is this example from Western Libraries. So this is a great example of showcasing different student projects through Hub. So if I click on this Map Apps button here, a person or somebody within the community can come to the site and learn more about what the students and GIS group are doing. And even better, when I scroll down, the university is actually enabling other people outside of their organization to learn how to create maps. I mean, how inclusive is that? This university is using Hub to showcase these different projects, but also encouraging other people to do analysis of their own so that they can maybe make their own informed decisions. The next example I have is from the University of Richmond. This was created by a class and it supports Earth Day's 50th anniversary. So within this hub, I can learn more about what Earth Day is. I can see the many different story maps that they have created, again, by these university students. So if your university is currently using story maps, don't worry, that doesn't go to waste. You can embed them directly into Hub. They can be, an additive to the story that you're trying to tell about what your students are trying to achieve. And as you can see here, they have many different story maps, all of which I can scroll through. I can also click out to them if I wanted to. I can then learn more about conservation and restoration, specifically around what these students are trying to achieve. And then again, there's a very similar example to this. And even though this is university focused, there was one, and I can pull it up, that was focused on the world, and it was called Earth Day 2020. And it was for citizen science and, enabling people to go and learn how to create maps and what they can do to help, make the world a little bit of a better place. Yeah, so this is a great example. All right, and then my biased and personal favorite is from the city of Malaga, created by Westchester University. So this was actually created with a planning studio class. It's a class I was in, which is honestly why I'm a little bit biased towards this hub. But this is a great example because we actually worked with the city of Malaga in Spain. We went there, we traveled there, we worked with city officials to help them with the ever-changing cityscape, right? They were facing problems with wanting more tourism, but their actual citizens didn't really want all that tourism, right? And so there was this kind of battle between, not battle, but this disagreement, right? And we aimed to show how we can make a more sustainable city and work with the city officials. And within this, hopefully this loads, but within this, you can see that we have all of our different projects, right? We have different videos that we've created. Again, story maps. We focused on 2 specific areas in Spain. So we made 3D models, which you can embed directly into your hub site if you want, or you can embed YouTube videos that you can see here. We also have specific data sets as well. So if people wanted to go and do, again, analysis of their own, they have access to do so. And then we also have some really cool videos, again, data sharing, and then you can embed some Facebook and Twitter feeds if your GIS group uses that or your university. And then just to show off a little bit of 3D modeling, this was created by some students here. And what's really cool is, again, that you can just embed all of this directly into your hub. There's no really need to go to all of these different places to find all of these different applications, which can sometimes be pretty confusing for people trying to find this information. So yeah, again, a little biased towards this one, but it is really close to my heart. And then what I now want to do is actually show you how to create one of these hubs. So again, just as a little bit of background on me, I am not a coder. In school, I was not some HTML or CSS expert, but using Hub, I was able to do the site creation. So that's really what I want to show you now. So I'm in the overview of Hub, and I want to create a new initiative. So if I go to new, I can browse the templates that we have. So there are two types of Hub. There's Hub Basic and Hub Premium, which we can get into a little bit later. So with Hub Premium, you have templates that you have access to. So there are 18 out of the box Esri templates. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose Encourage Project Feedback. I'm going to activate the university. I'm going to activate this. And again, you don't need to know coding or HTML or CSS to make these pages. It's all drag and drop, right? And these templates make site creation and customization already really easy. And so what's happening for me right now is that the Hub is creating some assets for me in the background. And when it's created, we will land on a site editor. But don't worry, you don't have to know HTML or CSS. You don't have to be a web expert. It's totally editable with point and click capabilities. So as we land on the site, you will see that there are some pre-populated items. And what I like to do right away is start changing my site for the organization or the university or the company that I'm making it for. So changing text within Hub is extremely easy because of Hub's rich text editor. So if I go into the settings of this text box here, maybe I don't want it to say university template, but I want to say university downtown project collaboration. So I can easily change the text within this. I can also change the look of it. Maybe I don't want this to be normal font, but I want it to actually be italicized. Maybe I even want it to be a little bit bigger. So I can affect the style of this as much as I want. Now, I can go into the code view. So if you actually want to teach your students some HTML and CSS, you can actually do that through the code view here in Hub. And again, just as a little bit about me, I have learned HTML and CSS. I did learn it through Hub back at school. So this is a really easy and fun way to learn a tiny bit of coding. So I'm also, maybe not super, inspired by this background picture. So changing, again, the look of this hub is really easy, especially for your organization. So if I don't want this background image that is pre-populated for me, I can upload one from my computer. So let's add some people walking. That's a good one. And then I can also then add a transparent background color over it, or an overlay color over it. So what I'll do is I will add a black overlay just so we can see the font a little bit better. And I apologize, this is taking a little bit of time. Let me turn off my camera, see if that helps. So I guess my background doesn't want to change right now, but that's okay. It'll load later on. So as I scroll through, you'll see that there are some other pre-populated items as well. So again, changing these is really easy. If I go into the settings of one of these, maybe the estimated cost isn't $200,000, but $800,000. And the idea behind this is your students can use these templates to further explain their projects that they're already working on. Now, what I'm going to show you is actually how you can embed other applications. So if I just bring in an application card and drop it below, all I have to do is select an application from my ArcGIS Online. So again, it's already integrated. There's no need to do coding to get your applications and your maps in here. And what's really nice about this too is I can bring in applications from the world or from my organization even as well. So from a class-wide project, just because one student made the application doesn't mean that you can't bring it into your hub site. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bring in a really rough proof of concept dashboard that I created, and it just automatically populates in. And with this though as well, whenever this data set updates in my Arcgis Online, it will also update on my hub. So there's no need to constantly update your hub site. It'll actually do it for you. Something else I want to show is how to add in surveys. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with Survey 123. And we do have a direct integration with Survey 123. So what I can do is I can either select a survey from my Arcgis Online, or I can also create one directly within my hub. So if I want to choose create survey, it then brings me to a survey editor. So if I give it a name, if I could spell, I still can't spell. Guess I need to go back for some English. And then I can add a tag and then hit next. And what this allows you to do is you don't need to, again, go to all of these different sites to create these applications. Really, you can do it all within Hub, which is, again, another nice additive. You know, you don't have to kind of explain all of these different websites and different applications and things like that. So it's just creating one for me really quickly. All right. So then this is just your classic Survey 123 editor. If I wanted to bring in my email, you know, I can ask people for their email. I can add in, maybe I want to add in a, you know, a Likert scale of how much people like a, you know, maybe a planned project, or maybe on a scale of, you know, what do they want to see the GIS group work on, or your planning class work on, or whatever class you have, you know, what does the community want to see? I can also add in a map. So I can say, you know, where are you taking the survey? You know, a way to find out where people are taking it. So this is all really nice and easy. All right, so I can save it and then I can publish it. So I'm just going to publish this really quickly. And this might take a couple of minutes, so I might not let it publish fully here. But then what I can do is I can, again, bring it back into my hub site in a really easy and streamlined format. Give it like 10 more seconds. Perfect, it worked. All right, so if I go back to my template that I was just creating, my initiative that I was just creating, if I scroll back down to that survey option and select a survey, it's already there. So no need to go and find that survey. It's already linked to this initiative or to this site. So if I bring it in, I can then see it and I can embed it. And that way, as people are scrolling through my site, they can also take the survey as well. All right. A couple of other things I wanted to show you. And again, you know, there's already some pre-populated items, but if I don't want it, I can just delete it. It's really easy to do that customization again. For example, let's bring in a map just to show you how easy it is to configure. I can select a map, bring one in from my content, and then it's populated in. And then I can change the look of this as well. Say I don't want the title up here, I can toggle that off. I can also toggle it on and change the title as well. All right, and then there's more things in here. I'm not gonna go into all of them, but if you go to hub.arcgis.com, you can explore the different capabilities that you have access to. I do want to show you a couple of capabilities that are specific to Arcgis Hub Premium. And that's something we can get into, again, a little bit later during the Q&A. But there are some managing tools that are really nice within Hub Premium. So once you get past the you know, the data sharing, the application sharing and things like that, if you want to then collaborate with a town or with a city, or you want to collaborate with actual community members within your town or city, it's really easy to do that with Hub. So if I go into the managing tools, there's this option called community. So if I go into community, this is where my followers are. So for example, if that Malaga site, again, I'm just going to bring that one up. If people wanted to follow that site to get updates, they can do that through Hub. Now I can also invite followers. So I can look up Joseph. I can bring him in. I'm going to have him follow my university project site here. Now he will have to accept the follow, of course. Now, what's really nice in here is that I can create different teams. So this is, again, specific to Arcgis Hub Premium. But with any hub, you get this core team. Now, this core team are the people that can edit, manage, and create the site. So for example, if you have student projects and they're working in these groups and you want them to showcase all of the work and everything that they've done through Hub, you can add all of them into the core group. And then that way they have access to edit the Hub site, create content for the Hub site, things like that. So that's a benefit to the core team here. But something else that you can do is you can create supporting teams. So I can create a supporting team, say, for, it's kind of weird, but fraternities and sororities. I know a lot of times they might have a trash cleanup or different volunteering events at universities. So I can create a team. Again, I can add members to this team, and then they can submit maybe how much trash they've cleaned up, or they can help you create maps of their paths that they walk on, right? So just different things like that maybe you can think of in regards to these supporting teams. All right, so I'm not going to show any other capabilities of Hub, but again, I encourage you to go to hub.arcgis.com and explore the different things that you can do. So as I mentioned before, Hub sits on top of your ArcGIS Online. However, you can pull in sensitive data from your enterprise if you so want to. For example, COVID-19. If you wanted to bring in some of that health data that might be secured behind your enterprise, you can bring in specific data sets from that as well. But all of you have access to Hub Basic. So that's data sharing, basic site building, bringing in those applications. But then there is Hub Premium. Hub Premium has those additional benefits of followers, community members, teams. You can create events, a lot of added benefits to Hub Premium. So if you are collaborating with towns and cities for a real city-wide project, you can leverage the premium functionality for that real qualitative community field feedback. And then launching your hub is really easy. So first, all you have to do is go to your ArcGIS Online and launch Hub. The second thing you can do is then create and publish a new site similar to what I just showed you. Next, you can set up your collaboration team. So adding people into that core team, adding people to that supporting team, whatever it may be. And then lastly is to share and report on your hub. All right, so here's some training and resources that I wanted to give all of you. The first one are training courses. Your students can take those. The second one are videos on YouTube. Those are really helpful, whether it's site customization, actually just kind of explaining what Hub is to your students, different things like that. And then last, there are some Hub resources. So if you want to see more examples, you can go to our gallery, and I can send that here in the chat, or Rena can send it here in the chat. And you can see some other university examples, some city examples, some utility examples. Hub can really be used for just about anything. And then last but not least, there's a link for some more resources if you want to further demo, if you want to read some blogs about Hub, you can go to that resources page and learn more. All right, so that actually concludes my presentation and demonstration of ArcGIS Hub. I wanted to leave a lot of time for questions and answers. So yeah, I'll hand it back to you, Joseph.
Gosh, thanks, Morgan. That was amazing. A couple of things that come to mind during your wonderful presentations. First, I did put the chat resource, the archive of all of the recordings. And so Morgan is going to share her slides, her presentation. Rena will put it up there on the site, and this whole recording will be archived there too. So just to make sure that you knew about that site. But a couple of things that came to mind, Morgan. First of all, I know many of these folks, probably all of you, are in some capacity associated with education. And if not, I think this will still be relevant. And that is, when Morgan was a student at Westchester, her professor, Dr. Koutu, Gary, he gave his students the freedom to do this. So I think that's something that I don't want to slip by. I know that you are the innovative kind of educators that really are trying to push the boundaries. Otherwise, you wouldn't be using GIS in the first place, right? It's a system, and it has its challenges, but giving the students the freedom, I think, is really key here. And you saw where Morgan and her team just flew. They just soared with this. So I think that's important. And another thing that I wanted to point out is that, and we touched on this in other of these monthly chats, and that is that this is all part of the ArcGIS platform. It's really a paradigm shift, right? Because you've got this platform and things can be built on it, including Hub, which I think there's a couple reasons why that's important. The students are using different components of the platform, and you see how they all fit together. So you can embed the survey inside the Hub. You can embed these maps inside the Hub. Nothing against one-off tools. I mean, I use Earth and View and other tools that just allow me to do editing of images and stuff like that. Nothing against those tools, but having this all part of the platform, I think, is really powerful, because then you can configure it and you can embed and you can link these things together for a really powerful set of resources. In other words, Hub isn't just some little thing that's over off in the corner that someone invented is on their server somewhere or on their computer. It's all part of the platform, which again, I think is really powerful.
Yeah. Thanks, Joseph.
I want to add to Joseph and Morgan as well. Many of you probably have a question about the licensing. Again, in ArcGIS Hub Basic, is already there in your ArcGIS Online. So if you go to the application launcher, you probably see that already. If you have any student that doing just a project without sharing with the community, they can use Basic already. But any of you that would like to have ArcGIS Hub Premium, it is included in the enterprise agreement with Esri. The institutional agreement with Esri. So you need to contact customer service or contact your account manager with your ArcGIS online ID. Then we will activate it, send the activation for the premium, but it is included. Just want to add that.
Thanks, Rena. So I'm going to go through some of these questions. I hope I'm not overstepping, Joseph or Rena.
Please.
Go, please.
Cool. So, okay, Sophia, I'm going to start from the bottom up. Probably doesn't make the most sense, but it's okay. So can you please clarify the hub versus sites within Hub? That is, does one organization have one hub with multiple sites? Great question. Get that a lot. Yeah, so Hub is kind of the name, but you can have multiple sites within Hub. So you would have multiple sites or multiple initiatives within your Hub. But yeah, so does that I hope that kind of explains it a little bit. And then you can also link all of those initiatives or all of those sites together. And I use initiatives and sites a little bit interchangeably because with Arcgis Hub Premium, it's called an initiative. With Arcgis Hub Basic, it's called a site. But they really are very similar, except for those added capabilities of Hub Premium. Yeah, so there's one hub for an organization. Yeah. Okay, so I'm actually gonna go, let's see. So I see.
Yeah, Morgan, if you could show the application launcher, we've had a question about that. That would be good to just review with folks.
Yeah, definitely. Let me sign into my Arcgis Online. Sorry, this is going to take me a moment.
Yeah.
Rena, are there any other questions that I could answer?
Yes, so one of them is the one that you're doing now. Could you explain where again to find the hub? Okay, then you're gonna show right now about that.
Yeah. So here I am in my ArcGIS Online. All I have to do is go to the application switcher. So the 9 dots up here. And then you can see all of my apps that I have, but one of them is Hub. So if I just click on Hub, it'll take me to the Arcgis Hub login. Now, I will probably already be logged in, but it would probably take you to a site that looks like this. And then all you have to do is hit sign in. And then once you hit sign in, you can just use your normal login, and then you're inside of your hub.
Well, that's lead to the next question, Morgan. How do you know if you're running Hub Premium?
Yeah, great question. So once you sign in, one super quick and easy way to tell, what does your first box say? Does it say initiatives? If it says initiatives, then you are running Arcgis Hub Premium. If it says sites, you are running basic. Another way to tell is if I go to say that site I just made for you, there would be a little, oh, I guess not on this one. A lot of times there's a little star on the left side of your screen. So that is showing that it's a premium site. So here it is. So if I go to the view version, there's a star button over here. So that's another way to show if it's premium. Now here's the catch. You do have to activate your Hub Premium account. So typically your Arcgis Online administrator would get an email and then they have to set it up. And Rena can also kind of help with that process.
Yes, it's a little bit confusing sometimes. Feel free to contact us to activate. It probably take like 5 minutes to do that. But with the premium one, you actually have another Arcgis Online for community, managed community. So it's not everything going to the parent Arcgis Online. So it's just linking between two, and you mostly will not realize it, or your student will just work from Hub. So it's just behind the scene how we link them together. Okay.
Exactly.
So Megan.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, Rena.
Oh, you want me to read? Yeah, I think probably it's easier, right? So Megan, there is one thing in here. Is the multi-user collaboration the main benefit for Hub versus other tools like Experience Builder? We have so many tools, Story Map, Experience Builder. Now it's Hub. So is this the user collaboration is the main benefit?
Yeah. So I would say collaboration is definitely the main benefit. And along with that too is Hub is different in the sense that we give community members a name, right? Like we give them a way to actively work with us, whether it's the city or the university, whatever it may be. And I work really closely with cities, so sorry if I kind of go into that realm here. But we give a community member an actual name, an actual creator license, actually. And they can make maps, they can make story maps, they can help us achieve those initiatives, achieve those goals. So yeah, I would say collaboration is definitely the biggest benefit. Along with it too, multiple people can be working on it. We don't always recommend that, but if you want, more than one person to be able to edit your the application without giving them administrative privileges, you can do that with that core group. So that's another benefit. Whereas with Experience Builder, it might be a little bit harder. However, with that being said, all of these applications that we have, Experience Builder, Story Maps, all of these things, they help create the hub, right? Or our initiative or our site. So that it helps build that story and it helps explain that story a little bit more. And I personally love Experience Builder, and you can directly embed Experience Builder into your hub. And it's basically kind of a part of your site then, in a sense.
Yeah. I like actually you build teams on that. You can just add teams from internally, or you're supporting team from your community as well.
And that's actually a question that I see here that was towards the top about creating a community team that are not a part of the university. Yeah. So from a city perspective, a lot of cities use these supporting teams for volunteers within the community, maybe a faith community, right? A way to get these groups of people, it's a way to kind of collaborate a little bit easier with them, and a little bit more streamlined with them. So yeah, definitely using it with that's not inside of your organization or inside of your university.
I would also, go ahead.
Go ahead. Joseph,
I would also just add from a purely technical point of view, realizing that I'm not an expert in Hub or Experience Builder or any of these other tools. Just like you, I'm on a journey.
Yeah.
But if you know, as an instructor, you have to choose the most appropriate tool for the job, correct? And just from a technical point of view, I think that Hub is actually easier than Experience Builder. But Experience Builder gives you more options. You know, if you, for example, I'm moving a course that I developed into Experience Builder, and I wanted full control over the size of every one of those boxes where I'm going to house all of my content from that course, which is locked inside an LMS, and I want to bring it to the general public. So I'm using Experience Builder as the front end. I could have used Hub, but I wanted some practice with Experience Builder, but I have more control, but it also is a little more time consuming, if you know what I mean. So if you want fewer options, a little bit of fewer options, but more ease than Hub. So, you know, they're both like Morgan's indicating. These are all good tools, and you just have to, you know, dip some toes into the waters of all of them, or at least some of them that would be appropriate for what you want to do, and then decide from there. But yeah, they're all useful in their own way for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Well said, Joseph. Thank you. Well, Morgan, I think this is a very good question here. All questions are good, but this one is: can anyone within an organization create their own site or initiative, or do they need extra privilege?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I can send that to you, Rena.
Yeah.
So we all know. So administrators can do basically everything within Hub. But if you have to kind of have special privileges. So if you don't have the following privileges, you would have to ask your GIS administrator for them. So you have to be a publisher role with a few added capabilities. So one of them is managing, I think it's managing groups, it's managing groups, and then there's two others, and I'll find it. Sorry, it's not at the top of my head. And the reason for that is if you are not an administrator, when you create your initiative site, a core team is not created. And the reason behind that is for safety, because the people in the core team can really just edit the entire site. So we make it so that only an administrator can do that unless you have these added privileges. So again, I will find it. I'm sorry, I don't know it at the top of my head, but I'll find it and send it to Rena, and then whoever asked that, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, it's kind of like creating a new role, right, Morgan? Which is like Publisher Plus. So you're like Publisher Plus, enabling a couple privileges to create site. Yeah, and then you give it to become the default role for your organization. But we definitely gonna do that. You probably this is now become a new way. You know, publisher is good, but if you want to use Hub, you add Hub. If you have student want to do notebook, you add another privilege. So it's like a common custom role on that, and we can discuss that more. Yeah. Joseph, is there any other questions there that you catch?
Yeah, just to clarify, Beth is just wanting to, put just a clarification on this. So Hub Basic is included in the educational site license, but Hub Premium is not? That's the question. Maybe to you, Rena.
Yes, the Hub Basic is there already. It's just like you have Arcgis Online, you have the Arcgis Hub Basic. The Premium one is the one that through the request to Esri, contact me or contact your account manager, contact customer service, like, hey, I'm already in site license or institutional license with Esri, and I would like to enable my Arcgis Hub Premium. Then we're gonna ask what is your organization ID? You know, your Arcgis Online. You probably have more than one Arcgis Online in your campus. So which one that you want to enable with Arcgis Hub Premium? Then the customer service will send activation email. Okay, and then you go through the process of linking this community part of Premium to your Arcgis Online. And we always can help you with that process. Sometimes it's a bit confusing, but yes.
Thanks, Rena. Hope that was helpful, Beth.
And then I did see one question about how do you share. So that's really important to show. So if I'm back in this hub site, there's this little people icon right next to the save button. So if I click on that, this is how I can change the sharing level. So the first way is just owner. So only, people within your organization or people within, only I can see it actually. And then the second way is organization. So anyone that's inside of my organization can see this. But then the third way is public. Now, one benefit I do want to show you that some people may not be actually aware of is that you can change visibility of individual rows of these individual cards actually. So say I want this entire site to be public to the broader community, but I only want my class to see this dashboard. What I can actually do is set the visibility on it and limit it to a specific group. So that's another actually really cool benefit. You would only be able to see the dashboard if you're signed in. So that's just a quick example.
Yeah, and a note to Gregory here. If you're in ArcGIS Online and you go to the organization tab at the top, on the left side, you'll see your organization name, and then there's a subscription ID in there. It's a strict numbers, no letters in there. It's a string of numbers. That's the one that we mean here.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. There. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, in the overview. Yep. That's the number.
You got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I hope that's helpful. Peter Knoop from the University of Michigan, one of our dear colleagues, he is asking, Morgan, can people with a custom role that you're describing be limited to only administering their own initiative or site? In other words, or what if they accidentally mess up someone else's hub in their org? So can they be limited to only administering their own hub site, I think is what Peter's getting at, which makes sense, right? How do you prevent people from accidentally
messing with other people,
messing up someone else's hub?
Yeah. I don't know, to be completely honest with you.
I don't know either, but
Morgan, if you have an initiative and I'm not part of your initiative, I'm not part of your team, I cannot do anything on your initiative, right?
So yeah, actually, thanks, Rena. So I guess realistically, only Gregory, only you or whoever asked that question, Peter. So Peter, I guess only you would have that privilege. Like you would be the only one with that custom role, assuming you're not the GIS admin or the ArcGIS Online administrator. So only you would have access to it. So then you would create all of the different initiatives. And then you can push your students into those core groups, and only those students can edit that core group's initiative that you put them into. So if you want Sally and Joe in the, I don't know, the data sharing initiative group, Sally and Joe cannot then access the application initiative. Did I kind of explain that? Sorry, I don't know if that's the best example.
That makes sense, that you could not interfere with someone else's hub site. That makes total sense. Yeah. I haven't done the experiments to test it with my colleagues, but it does make sense that you wouldn't be able to do that.
So so for example, I added Joseph into the core group here, and only Joseph then can edit this. Only Joseph can edit this site. Joseph couldn't edit any of my other initiatives that I have. That's kind of, I think that might be a better explanation. So now that Joseph is in here, he cannot edit anything else that is in the org.
Yes, yes, I think that's probably makes sense. Only if you are really, really the administrator in your Arcgis Online, which is the power user, you probably can do more. There's another question here. So can any member of the group change the publication level, the public, institution, or group?
Yeah.
In the team, I guess, not in the group. Right?
Yeah, if you're in the core team, then yeah, you can change it. Pretty sure.
Yes. Another question is, how many Hub Premium sites can associate it with one subscription?
It's a great question. I don't think we've reached a limit yet. I know of one, I think we're up to, I think the max that I've heard is 300. So I think there might be a cap at 500. I think we might have put a cap at 5, but I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think we've really reached the max yet.
Yes, I think so. If anybody reached that, because this is university, feel free to let us know.
Yeah.
We want to learn from you. Yeah. Okay, there's a good question here. How to support general public input? Embed survey 1 to 3? I think Embed survey 1 to 3 is one thing, right? But Morgan, probably you can show them that follow button.
Yeah. So by enabling the follow button, hopefully this works for me. Having some issues. So what I can do is I can enable a follow button. Where are you? So there's a follow tab here. So now that my site is public, actually, what I can do is bring this into an incognito mode as somebody is just a normal community member. That's not what I wanted. And then you can see that there is this follow button. Sorry, just one more minute. So there's this follow button. So this is one way for input. So if I follow this, I can then, something's a little off here. But what I can do, and I'm sorry about this, what I can do is I can create a community account, and I can do that with my first name, last name, an email, or through Gmail actually, and give it, Morgan Sapia, and then I can fill this out, and then I get a named user. And then what I can do then as that named user is I can actually create maps, create story maps, things like that. So that's maybe general input. And then like Joseph said, crowdsource, you can use, crowdsource reporter, if needed, survey 1, 2, 3. With Hub Premium, you also get not survey 1, 2, 3. What's the other one?
Quick capture.
Quick capture. Thank you. Yeah. So you also get quick capture that everybody has access to. So that's another way. Yeah.
Hey, what about this, Morgan? Someone's asking, Janice is asking, hey, does this use credits? And if so, how much?
Yeah, great question. So it does use storage credits, but it uses a very minute amount. It's kind of, it really doesn't use credits at all, to be completely honest with you, but it does use storage credits. But bringing in data, bringing in survey 1, 2, 3, bringing in all that stuff, none of that is credits. It's just storage. And it's a very minute number.
It's almost like creating your own website, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. So Peter Nob has another question, Morgan. Is there a good decision point for creating hubs versus creating multiple initiatives in one hub?
So it's one hub per organization.
And have many
initiatives. Yeah. So I guess unless your university has multiple organizations, then I would recommend keeping them separate in a sense. I mean, if your GIS has an organization and then your, geology has an organization, I mean, I would keep them separate in that sense, but you can link them. But it's one hub per organization, many initiatives within that hub, within that organization.
Yes, and each initiative can have many sites inside that.
Many pages, yeah.
Pages, yeah. Hey, quick question here. Can initiative be combined?
Yeah.
Can pages from one initiative be moved permanently to another?
That's a great question. So one way to do that is I can bring in actually a menu. So if I bring in a menu, I can add a link. I can add a link to existing content and actually bring in my other sites and initiatives. So these are all of the sites that my organization has. So if I go to my content, you know, if I wanted to bring in other sites and pages, I can do that. So that's one way to link the two together, if that's what you're asking. I can also create buttons within my hub and link them out to other initiatives as well. So we see that practice a lot in cities when it comes to smart city goals. So if they have, you know, a climate action plan and, you know, resiliency and all these other things, those are different initiatives that they can link to.
Okay. And I think I'm going to take this question from Doug here. This is a bit concerning that it's appeared that one can create a name user from public without some sort of authorization check that will cause our security team some headaches. Well, so remember, this is the premium. The premium, when you get the Hub Premium, you will actually create or activate a new ArcGIS online for community. So all the community that join your initiative or follow your initiative will be stored in the community ArcGIS online, not in the parent one or not in the core one that you have in your university. So that's why we have the Hub Premium to manage the community users. There is not mixed. Okay, that's a good, go ahead, Morgan.
Sorry, I just wanted to get this up super quickly. So you have your quote employee organization or your university organization. And then whenever you launch Premium, like Rena was saying, you create another organization. Now it's connected if you want it to be connected. It doesn't have to be. So yeah, anybody could grab one of those users, but they have no access to your organization unless you bring them in. But even if you brought in a person in your core team into your initiative, they wouldn't be able to access your ArcGIS online. I don't think so. Hopefully that can kind of relieve some concern.
Yes, and probably it's related to another question here, Morgan. Can I share ArcGIS online maps that are only shared in the organization with the community users?
Yes, you can. You can add in. So one way you could actually bring in the map, and then for people to see it, they have to be signed in. So that's one way, by changing that visibility of specific items in your hub or in your initiative. So that's one way to do it. Another way is you can share specific content to those supporting teams. And that's one way that they could have access to that map.
So if I'm understanding that question, there's this nuance of if a map is not shared, you know, you make your ArcGIS online map and you don't share it with the world. If you somehow connect it to the hub, then they could look at it.
Yeah, so you can share it to specific groups. Yep. Yeah. So you can share it to specific teams. And I guess maybe from a technical standpoint, the teams in Hub are groups in ArcGIS Online. We just use a different name to make it more, you know, I don't know, more inclusive, more, you know, exciting for those community members. So they're a part of that team, right? So it's the same thing, I would say. That kind of makes sense.
Okay. It is a lexicon of terms, isn't it?
It
Teams, hubs, groups, portals,
sites, initiatives.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's part of what we, you know, the whole idea of, you know, encouraging geoliteracy, that there is a subset of a language that is all part of it. So, and it evolves over time, which is another challenge, but well worth endeavoring to teach the students for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, thanks. These are really good questions. We told Morgan before she came on today that you folks are the top-notch educators in the community, and we really appreciate these questions. We're kind of closing in on the top of the hour, so in being sensitive to everybody's time today, I know we could all stay on another hour and chat about hubs. However, I'm going to paste the link to the monthly chats in the chat box here one more time, so that you know that the slides and the recording will all be posted there shortly. And also, you know how to get a hold of any of us on the education team and Morgan. So if there's some stone that we haven't turned over yet, which I'm sure there are probably some that you might even think about in the coming days, let us know.